The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. What do I have to say about this game? I have quite a few things to say about this game. First of all, it has 3 maps, technically, which the first game only had 1 map. There was also a prequel to Breath of the Wild, so this is essentially the end of a trilogy in this massive universe. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk about all 3 different maps, talk about the new mechanics and gameplay, and talk a little bit about this story, but without any spoiler context. Sure, the game's been out for a while, but some people haven't beaten it yet, so I'm just going to talk about certain aspects one thing at a time. So first off, I'm going to talk about the Sky map, called Sky Islands. Now, this was an amazing addition to this game compared to Breath of the Wild. Adding this just is absolutely incredible. Breath of the Wild was all about exploration. This game is more story-driven than Breath of the Wild was, but the exploration is also absolutely insane. Now, when it comes to Sky Islands, I will say it's fun. The Sky Islands are cool. They always give you reasons to go back up there. A lot of different reasons, but in my opinion, it is my least favorite of the 3 maps in the game. I think they could have added more up there. There was a few fun puzzles here or there, but I feel like there was a lot that they could have added more to. Like, there was one section that was very interesting where there's like a storm and there's like these floating boats and stuff related to like a temple and stuff. Not too spoilery there, but so there was some cool stuff there, but a lot of the sections were kind of very similar to each other, where it was like, oh, here's one of those things that gives you the items for building things, and here's a shrine over here. Oh, go to this location to go grab this green gem to be able to bring it back to the shrine in order to activate the shrine to get the Raru's blessing. There was a lot of those everywhere, and then there was some bosses up there that were all in these circles, and it was all the same bosses, but I feel like they could have captivated a little bit more on the Sky Islands and added more. And from what I have heard, shoutouts to Nintendo Memories, from what I heard from him when he was talking about this, he said that they took out actually some aspects from the Sky Islands, certain areas that were going to be in the game, they actually had taken out of the game. Before release, which is very unfortunate because I feel like they really could have, like, if you look at the Sky Islands map versus the other 2 maps, it's nowhere near as big as the other maps because there's nowhere near as much in the sky as there is the other 2. I mean, it's not fair to really compare them, but I really feel like they could have added some more sections to the Sky Islands. Maybe I'm picky here, but I think that the Sky Islands is the weakest part of the 3 maps, but it still nonetheless is a very impressive and very great addition, very beautiful, and it's still great, but it is just the weakest part of the game's 3 maps in my personal opinion. Give me it. Ah! I don't know if that's gone forever or not, but I guess I'll mark. Oh! Well, there goes that weapon. Good thing it wasn't anything very special. Oh, man. Now, just to touch upon the Sky Islands, now I'm going to talk about the main map of Hyrule, just the main Hyrule map itself. It's very impressive. I mean, it was impressive in Breath of the Wild, but then it was a brand new world that we had never visited before. We are revisiting that world, so I was worried that it was going to be basically the same thing, but it's not. It's not. It's actually really fantastic. They changed a lot of different things. They added caves, and the caves are very cool, and a lot of them are unique in their own ways. You can't get lost in them, which is nice. Like, some of them are tiny, some of them are bigger. But you're all about finding the bubble gems from these bubble frogs, they're called, in there, more than anything. And some of them have armor pieces and stuff, different things. But you're all about finding these bubble gems, which you use those in order to get specific armor pieces and different things. I'm not sure what you get by collecting all of them. I never actually looked that up. which is something that I'm still working on. But the caves are really cool, and the atmosphere is just a little bit different of a vibe because things are darker. There's areas that have holes in the ground, which I'll get to in a minute, because of that caused the Sky Islands from Ganondorf, causing things to go ending up in the sky. And Hyrule is essentially damaged and kind of broken, and things are all over the place. And it's a little bit darker of a world than it was in Breath of the Wild, and that's really fantastic. And it's just really cool and interesting. And there's some interesting new enemies in there and stuff, and it just makes it more fun. And they made it feel still fresh and unique versus versus Breath of the Wild. And that was one of my worries: is this map going to feel new? And yes, I very much so think it does. I think that the map from Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild, it feels fresh. It feels a little bit different than Breath of the Wild, and there's more different things to do. And not everything is completely the same. And I think that it just... And maybe it's because, like, I don't have Breath of the Wild fever, where I played so many hours of it and then went right into Tears of the Kingdom, like, right away. But from what I've heard from other people as well, still feels fresh and new and different from Breath of the Wild, even though you're revisiting the same world. And I think that they did a good job with it. Now, going into the final map of the 3 maps, and that is the underground map. This was an incredible experience for me. Like, in general, what was cool about the underground is the first time you discover the underground, everything's just dark and scary, and you're terrified. You don't want to be down there much early in the game at all, not until like later in the game. Whoa. Whoa. That was a huge drop. Whoa. Because all the enemies are strong, at least twice as strong. That you don't get your heart containers back unless you have specific items cooked in order to fix that, in order to heal your hearts down there. Like I said, enemies are stronger, but you can find really cool armor pieces down there. It's very rewarding being down there. Lighting things up with light roots, it's really cool. Just a really awesome atmosphere. Every time you go dive down there, there's a really big ambience of music, and it's just super cool. And I really think that they nailed it, giving us basically a whole second Hyrule down there. Like, everything about the underground, in my opinion, it was my favorite of the 3 maps because it just got more and more fun. The further in you got in the game, the more you wanted to go down there, and you wanted to be down there, and you wanted to collect things and do things and find things and discover things. Plus there's coliseums down there, and so many different aspects down there that are just really cool. And the ambience of it and the scariness of it was just very cool. And I think that the fact that Nintendo hid this from us, I mean, I heard that there was going to be something underground related, like we talked about this before the game came out, but I thought that was meaning underground dungeons. I wasn't thinking this was going to mean a full-blown underground map, a whole nother Hyrule. That was not something that I had planned going into this game, thinking that, because I can tell you right now, going down there, you're going to spend like an extra 100 hours just grinding and searching for the light roots and searching for the treasures and killing enemies and riding really cool things down there. Like, there's so many things and aspects to do with the underground that I frickin' love, and I just love it. I love everything about the underground, and it's truly an experience. Like, the first time that you witness the underground, it's kind of something that just kind of blows your mind. So overall, when you combine all 3 maps together, you have a really amazing game. So when it comes to the maps, when you fuse them all as one, it's just like, wow, talk about overwhelming. I put 200 hours into this game, and it took me over 190 to beat. Some people took way more than that, well over 200 to beat the game, and I'm still playing the game. It is truly an amazing experience, and I just recommend anyone to check it out. And if you're not a big Zelda person, I completely understand. It isn't for everyone, but the maps were fantastic, and so we're gonna get into our next topic here. All right, so next I'm gonna go into the mechanics that we have. Fuse is a big one. I will say the weapon breaking mechanic is back. And it's very unfortunate, but it didn't bother me because of the reasons of what they decided to implement in the game, which is fusing, where you can fuse any types of weapons together, from twigs to swords to axes to blades to rocks to really anything in the world. Like, there's so much stuff you can just frickin' rockets. Like, you can fuse tons of stuff to create different kinds of unique weapons and aspects versus Breath of the Wild, and I think that really changed a lot of aspects in this world of things that you could do, and I love that aspect. I think it's awesome.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ah.
Now, the next ability that I want to talk about is Ascend, and oh my gosh, Ascend is so crazy to me because can you imagine being a video game developer and your boss like basically saying, yes, so we have this new mechanic that we're going to build for our game, and it's going to be where you have to literally have this character, have Link, go through literally anything possible all the way up to either the surface or whatever is above that. Like, I can't even imagine how they created this mechanic. Like, I mean, the screen turns into like a green aura, but I think that, like, it truly is quite amazing how they created the Ascend ability, and it really changed the game entirely, because it's like, if you go back to Breath of the Wild, here's the thing, and this happens with a lot of sequels, which is a good thing. You play a sequel, right? You don't want to go back and play the game before it anymore, because of certain mechanics or certain things that they changed that were just for the better, such as the Ascend ability, because now you don't have to just climb and maneuver around things. You can literally use Ascend in any kind of way in order to climb up something. You don't have to climb it, you just go through it. Swim through it, not over it, instead, you know? You know that quote, I hope. Now, there was a very interesting one, the recall ability. This was kind of cool. I mean, you can use it in certain aspects, in shrines and dungeons when it needs you to, or you can use it to ascend rocks that fall from the sky, as seen in the gameplay trailer, to be able to go back up to the sky. And it's an interesting mechanic, but I feel like I didn't use it quite as much as some people might. Like, some people use it for, like, crazy stuff. Like, I seen someone kill a big enemy with, like, a tree or rock or something. They did something, and they made it, like, just spin. and it just killed the enemy. Like, it kept hitting him, and I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. Because what they did, they used the arm mechanic, and they lifted it up, and then they made it just spin like crazy to kill the enemy after they used rewind. And it's like, oh my gosh. Some of the stuff that people use with these abilities in this game is so wild. But I want to get into, like, the biggest mechanic of the game now. Now, the hugest mechanic was the Ultra Hand and the auto build, which I don't even know what to say. Like, they turned the Zelda game into, like, Minecraft, but not. Like, they did it in a way that it's endless, the amount of stuff you can think of to build. And it proved to me that I cannot think very well at things to build, because people make endless amounts of anything in this game. People make literally the Batmobile, or become Ghost Rider with a motorcycle with flames on the back, or the sand wing thing from Mario Sunshine. Like, the amount of stuff that people build in this game, mechs, like giant mech suits and stuff, like it's insane. It's insane to me that people create anything in Tears of the Kingdom. And it goes to show that this game, there's countless amount of content just because there's countless amount of fun. If you can be creative, especially if you have a very creative mind, the amount of fun you can have in this game just doesn't end, because the stuff that you can build, like, you can just build anything. And I think that the Ultra Hand power and the auto build system really changed Zelda in a way that I don't know what they're gonna do next. It made sense, though, for them to do this for this game. I really do think it made sense. I think that it was a really awesome, amazing mechanic, and it changes up the way that you play and the way you can travel, because you don't need a horse, and like, you can use a horse, obviously, of course, which I personally love doing, because you've always had a horse in the 3D Zelda titles. But the fact that you can create any type of vehicles or flying machines that you want in this game and do what you want really made Tears of the Kingdom it's my personal favorite Zelda game of all time. It really is. It was Wind Waker, and then Breath of the Wild was up there. In like top 3, but Tears of the Kingdom is now my favorite Zelda game of all time. And I think that the auto build and the arm, like, the stuff you could do is just it's blew me away. Like, it's funny because I never got spoiled once for this game online, and I watched so many videos on this game, and it was all just related to things that people built and things people did. And also, I have to mention the Koroks. Yeah, everybody tortured him. I guess Link enjoys torturing Koroks. Who would have ever thought? Now, my last little bit, I'm not going to talk about spoilers, but basically the story is fantastic. I will say that it is much better than Breath of the Wild's story. There's a lot of different Easter eggs related to other Zelda games from the past, much more than Breath of the Wild had. And Ganondorf is a fantastic villain. I think Matt Mercer did a really great job as Ganondorf. I mean, it really threw me off because I'm a One Piece fan, and watching it in English dub, I mean, you know that voice. You know Matt Mercer's voice, so it's like, oh, yeah, that's this guy. But the voice acting was great, and I think that the story was fantastic between the 4 temples. There's one temple that's not that great, I will say. To me, in my opinion, that would be the Water Temple. Isn't that great. Best one being I think the Wind Temple, might be the Lightning Temple. I can't quite remember at the moment, but it felt more like original Zelda. And I thought that was really, really, really cool because I actually got stuck. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't want to look it up because I knew I could figure it out. I knew that I could figure this one out. So it wasn't something I wanted to look up. And it took me a little while to figure out, but I figured it out. So temples were great. Much better than Breath of the Wild with their so-called temples. It was far better. But there are some traditional Zelda aspects that I still would like to see return, such as chests with keys. And even opening the chest and it making the sound and you unlocking a specific like ability kind of thing that was in previous Zelda games such as Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, you name it, are different aspects that I wish would return, just because I feel like there's that magical moment when you get like to the end of a temple or something and there's that chest that you open and he opens it slowly and it plays the tune and you get like a specific mechanical item for the game. I think I do kind of miss that. But that's one of my like nitpicks that I would say about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that I would love to see in the next mainline 3D Zelda game, like 6 years from now. It'll be a while for sure. But yeah, going back to the story, I would say that they nailed everything in all the right aspects. However, when it comes to the memories, I didn't get them in order. So unfortunately, it wasn't confusing. Like, I loved all of them, but unless you watch them in order, then, you know, you might get a little bit confused or lost with what's going on. I didn't personally mind that, but I totally understand the gripes with people not liking the fact that the memories, you couldn't find them all directly in order unless you followed Impa to each one, which I did not do. I don't think a lot of people did that, just because a lot of people were exploring to their heart's content, and that's what the game is all about. And that's not what I did, so oh well. But nonetheless, the story was awesome, and the final boss was really, really cool and really good, I will say. And this is a great conclusion to this iteration of Zelda, and I have no idea how they're going to top this game. No idea how they're going to top this game. No idea how they're going to top this iteration of Zelda and Link, because they are my favorite iteration. They are a lot of people's favorite iteration. I have no idea what they're going to do next. I cannot predict or imagine what they're going to do next with this franchise when it comes to a next big 3D open world Zelda title, because from what I know, we are getting open world from now on for the 3D titles. They're going to go with this type of gameplay, going open world, which makes complete sense, especially with tech getting better and better. I mean, the Switch isn't better and better yet. But hopefully the next console, of course, will be much better, and the next Zelda iteration will be absolutely insane in some kind of way and will look even better. Because graphically, I would say Tears of the Kingdom looks really good. You know, I mean, it really does look quite good for the Switch's power. It's one of the best looking Switch games, and it functions very well. Unlike Game Freak, Pokemon, you know. So nonetheless, I did have some minor gripes with the game, but the game is an absolute masterpiece and is my favorite Zelda game of all time, and I'm going to keep on playing it every now and then casually. Maybe I'll even do another playthrough in the future, eventually, when games aren't so crazy, because this year is full of a lot of video games and stuff. But it's a really great game. Highly recommend it to anybody who's a Zelda fan or just an open world player in general. However, you might want to play Breath of the Wild first, depending on the person, or at least look it up. I don't know. I know someone who's playing Breath of the Wild right now and then playing Tears of the Kingdom later. So that's my thoughts on the game. My overall score on the game would be a 9.5 out of 10. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy my review and all of this ridiculousness related to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on my review of the game. Let me know if there was some things I could have improved or done a little bit differently in some kind of way. I just really have been wanting to do this for a while. It's a game that I wanted to talk about. I had some things I wanted to say. The game is very impressive. Mechanically, the game is impressive. Graphically, for the Switch's hardware, they really need new hardware. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. But the Zelda team did a really, really great job, and Aonuma and his team, like, truly it goes to show when a company cares about a product, the amount of time that it takes a while to put together a really good product. This game was announced in 2019. It started development directly after Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. So this game took 18, 19, 20, about 6 years to make. So, I mean, like I said, it'll take probably another 6 years before we get another one. But we'll see what happens in the future of this franchise. None of us can really, truly predict that. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy my review of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and share this video around with your friends. Comment in the comment section down below what you think of the game. Let me know your overall thoughts of the game, or just the Zelda franchise in general. Where do you rank it for you? Have you played any of the games? Are you interested in Zelda? Just let me know. I don't know. I'm just an idiot on the internet that likes to play video games. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace. What the heck what is that? Ah! Bro, no. Bro, ah! What is going on? Oh! That's a tree! Huh? That's a tree! No! That's a tree! I've never seen that before. That's a tree. That is, in fact, a tree. Oh my gosh, that's a tree. What the heck? That's a tree. Alright. That is a tree.